Welcome back to the deep dive. You know the drill. We take a big pile of information, dig through it, and pull out the most interesting bits for you.
And today, we've got something quite different. It's a document called dozaarch.pdf.
Right, Doza Arch. And at first glance, it looks like, oh, some kind of list.
Exactly. It seems to be a catalog, maybe a digital archive.
Hmm.
We're seeing names like Doza Crew, Nova Pack, and Damon.
Yeah, lots of entries linked to those names. It feels like it could be maybe music track titles
Hmm?
or album names, possibly other creative projects too.
Could be. It's like a snapshot of their creative work, perhaps. Think of it as a sort of map to what they've been up to.
Definitely. And what jumps out almost immediately are these volume numbers, like Grand Theft Audio Vol. oh 09. That clearly suggests a series.
Right. A recurring project. But then
Yeah.
there are other things, too.
Yeah, like Mike's Waffen Facts. That sounds different. And get this, there are even entries called Doza Deep Dives.
Huh. That's a bit meta, isn't it? Seeing our own show name, well, almost.
Kind of weird. So, okay, our mission today, our deep dive, is basically to explore this landscape presented in the PDF.
Yeah, we want to see if we can spot any patterns, connections, maybe recurring collaborations or themes.
Figure out what this tells us about the creative world of Doza Crew and these other associated names.
Let's try and give you a clearer picture of what's going on in this archive.
Okay, so first thought, there's a lot here. Just the sheer number of entries, even in the part we're looking at, is, well, it's significant.
Oh, absolutely. It points to, like, a really sustained effort. They must have been quite prolific.
You think? It suggests a pretty deep creative habit, maybe over a long time.
I'd say so. And notice how some titles or series keep coming back. You mentioned Grand Theft Audio.
Yeah, up to volume oh 09 in this list alone.
Oh,
That's not just a one-off.
No, definitely not. That suggests a project with some real momentum, something they kept returning to. Makes you wonder how it changed over those 9 volumes.
And what about Mike's Waffen Facts? We see that with season numbers SO5, SO4, all the way back to SO1 here.
That one does feel different, doesn't it? Less like music titles, maybe more episodic.
Like some kind of show or segment. Mike's Weapon Facts? I mean, the title alone makes you curious. What is that about?
It really does, and it makes you think about how these different projects relate. Are they totally separate things, or do they, I don't know, link up somehow?
Could Mike's Waffen Facts be like a spoken word thing sitting alongside the music?
It's possible. The archive doesn't give us the content, just the titles, so we're kind of piecing things together here.
Right, just the clues. We're also seeing quite a few collaborations listed.
Yeah, definitely. Doza Crew and Damon shows up more than once.
And I saw Doza Crew and Kairam, Doza Crew and JMO too.
So they weren't just working in isolation. There's clearly a collaborative element, maybe a whole scene or community around them.
That makes sense. These partnerships can tell you a lot, can't they? Shared tastes, maybe, or just people who clicked creatively?
Exactly. Different pairings might mean different sounds or styles were explored. Were these regular partnerships or more like a wider network they tapped into? Hard to say for sure from just this list.
Then you hit these really unusual titles. Stuff like Vulcan Cook Shame,
Yeah, or Room Hallucinogenum.
Obscultismus. I mean, those don't sound like your standard pop song titles.
No, they definitely suggest something maybe more experimental or conceptual. It hints at a different side to their work.
What kind of headspace do you reckon generates titles like that?
Well, what's interesting is how they sit alongside perhaps more straightforward titles. It suggests they weren't afraid to explore different avenues.
Like they could do accessible stuff, but also these deeper, maybe more abstract projects.
Potentially. It makes you wonder who the audience was for those more out there titles. Or maybe it was just for their own creative satisfaction.
And it's not just Doza Crew as the main act,
Mm-hmm.
right? We see Nova Pack listed a lot.
Yes, Nova Pack has quite a few entries, sometimes solo, sometimes collaborations like Nova Pack and Harry or with JMO again.
So Doza Crew might be the sort of central group, but there are clearly other individual artists doing their own thing within this sphere.
That's a good way to put it. It looks like a potentially vibrant, interconnected ecosystem.
Yeah.
You've got solo work, group work. It suggests a dynamic environment.
Where people could do their own thing, but also come together for projects.
Right. Individual expression and group synergy both seem important.
And we have to mention the Doza Deep Dives entries again, one called Cats and Gold, another hyper-universal.
Yeah, that's still amusing, given, what we call our show.
It is. What do you suppose their deep dives were about? Analyzing influences, talking about their process.
Could be anything, really. Spoken word pieces, essays, manifestos, Cats and Gold, Fool's Gold, that's evocative. And hyper-universal. Those subtitles alone are pretty intriguing. They definitely spark curiosity.
Just scanning down the list, the variety is kind of staggering. You've got a title like Ninja Mutants near something called Mary.
And then Schnick Schnack book.
Exactly. It's a total grab bag. What does that kind of eclecticism suggest to you?
Well, it suggests they weren't sticking to one genre or one theme. They valued creative freedom, trying different
And
things,
some hard to pin down.
which is often a good sign, isn't it? It usually means an artist or group is evolving, exploring, not just repeating a formula.
And thinking about those volume numbers again, like in Grand Theft Audio,
Huh.
it gives you a sense of time.
Yeah, this wasn't just a short burst of activity. This catalog seems to have been built up over a fair bit of time.
Those sequential series especially point towards that sustained output, if we had dates for these.
Ah, yeah, dates would be amazing. We could potentially map their evolution, see how their sound or interests changed, but we work with what we have.
Okay, so wrapping up our initial deep dive into this dozaarch.pdf,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty clear there's a huge amount of work documented here.
Definitely just scratched the surface, but we've seen this core group, Doza Crew, these related artists like Nova Pack and Damon.
We've spotted recurring series, evidence of lots of collaboration, and just this really wide, fascinating range of titles.
It points to a lot of creative energy, right? The sheer volume, the variety. It feels like a collective that was constantly making things, trying new stuff.
It really does. And this list, it really fires up the imagination, doesn't it? All these titles.
Hmm.
It makes you wonder, thinking about this whole archive, what's the underlying story here? What was the journey for Doza Crew and everyone involved?
What kind of artistic evolution does this list actually represent?
Yeah, what kind of sounds, what kind of ideas are hiding behind titles like Ruum Hallucinogenum or Mike's Waffenfax? It definitely leaves you thinking about the connections, the narratives that might be woven through this whole collection.